The following interview is with Tom Hopper. I speak with him about his character Raife Hastings in The Terminalist Dark Wolf, which is a prequel / spin-off to The Terminalist, starring Chris Pratt, which came out a few years ago. This tells the story of Taylor Kitsch's character Ben Edwards and how he leaves the Navy SEALs and joins the CIA. And Hastings is his superior. He's a lieutenant in the SEALs and is also booted out of the SEALs and joins sort of a clandestine joint task force with the Israeli Mossad. And it's a great show. It's really entertaining. It's just one of those great military spy thrillers, and it exceeded all my expectations. I wasn't a huge fan of the original Terminalist. I thought it was decent. I actually enjoyed it more than the book. It's the only one of those books that I've read. But I really liked the Terminalist Dark Wolf. And I thought Hopper was just terrific in it. There's just some really powerful scenes that he does. And unfortunately, there were some technical issues at the beginning of this interview, so the first part was cut off. In it, I asked Hopper about kind of how he approached the role and how he approached the torture scene, kind of this big torture scene where he interrogates who he thinks is an enemy combatant, but ends up being a German intelligence officer. He talks a bit about in this section about his character's nickname, I guess, back in Rhodesia, which is Mitulivu, which in Swahili means the calm one, and just kind of how his character brings a sense of calm and reason, which is in stark contrast to sort of the fiery passion of Ben Edwards. And those two really kind of play off each other a lot in that regard. He also talks about how his the actor who played the guy he interrogated was actually his best friend, Luke Roberts. And so that was kind of an interesting challenge to work with someone you're close to in a scene that is that grueling and that difficult to watch. So we'll just get to the interview, which obviously starts kind of in the middle. The action is already going in media res, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. So speaking of, like, you mentioned how different Raife and Ben are, and they are kind of like almost like polar opposites in a lot of ways. How did you and Taylor Kitsch kind of work to form that relationship often on screen?
Yeah, well, the first thing as well we wanted to establish is that their relationship is very different to Rhys and Ben's. Raife and Ben are very good friends, but he's also his lieutenant. Like Rhys and Ben are friends before they're officer and chief, whereas Raife is Ben's lieutenant, right? So there's a working relationship there that they have to like work within, and they've done that for a long time, and they know each other very well. Which is also why when James Rhys is saying, no, Ben is fine, like Ben's all good, I'm saying, trust me, he's not. I see him every day and I know he's not. And I know, and that's the whole thing of like, you look close enough, you see the strings vibrating, because you do. And I think that was very important for us to establish early on. This is not the relationship that you see in season 1 of Terminalist with Ben and Rhys. This is something very different. And there's a job at hand, and there's something. What was great as well was this coming out of the SEALs together and having our wings taken. That's such a huge thing to happen to a SEAL. And also Raife knowing that Ben is responsible for that, and Ben knowing that he's taken Raife's wings because of something that he has done, and Raife taking the flak. That sets their relationship on a whole different journey. So I think what was really important for me and Kitsch was to create this kind of like underlying tension throughout between the two of them, that they see things differently. They want to so badly stay connected, but they very quickly are going in these different directions. And Raife is always going to be looking at every little aspect of what he's doing on a mission and who he's working for, why he's working for them. Ben wants to just do the mission. He wants to work for his boys downrange. Raife does too, but for the right reasons, So that's where they have this like disconnect all the way through this season.
If Rafe could look back on the events that took place in this show and change something, what do you think he would what do you think he would do differently?
Oh, great question. I wonder whether he would, if he could do differently, whether he would have said no from the off in when we first meet Haverford, whether he would stand by his thoughts. But there's a part of him that also wants the fight. You know, there's a part of him that still wants that, and we see that in the end of episode 2. Like there's a sense of enjoyment that he gets out of killing Denawi, right? And beating him to death with the back of a gun. You know, that's something that there is an element of enjoyment for him. But if he was to, if he really wanted to stop it dead and stop any of this happening, then that would be the point, I think, where he would just say, "No, I'm not doing it. If you want to go, you can go, but I'm not going." I think he would turn it all around there.
Yeah, because it's clear also in the show that he has other channels of fixing their predicament, or at least trying to. Is that right?
Yeah, well, he's more well connected. He's also had experience. He's not worked inside the agency, but his family have worked with the agency. He's seen a lot of things happen with the agency, so he's just had experience with them, unlike Ben, and he knows how things work, and it's different. And there's no rules. We work within a set of rules in the SEALs, and he knows what that future holds if they go inside the agency. So there's always this slight distrust from him, and rightly so in the end.
Yeah. What was it difficult to get the accent, the Rhodesian South African?
Yeah, I mean, it's so specific because you've got a South African, you've got like Cape Townian, Joburg, Durban. They all have their own like tweaks, but then Rhodesian specifically, with the sort of Mozambique sounds. It's kind of like you almost could liken it to Australia to New Zealand, or like different regions in New Zealand, right? Someone from there would be like, "Oh, that's like very specifically that area." So that's what we tried to do. I worked on it day and night with the scripts, and made sure that I had all the kind of pitfalls flagged down, so I knew what were very specific sounds to that area, and made sure I was hitting all those. But yeah, it's just studying it, right? Like, and there's not a huge amount of information on the internet actually for Rhodesian, so you just got to kind of hunt it down. And yeah, eventually with the hard work, I hope I did it justice. All the Rhodesians out there, I hope I've done you all justice.
Have you checked the Rhodesian Reddit threads just to make? So like going on finding the angry Rhodesian social media posts. No, it was great, I thought, but I don't know. I mean, I don't obviously know much about Rhodesia.
Yeah.
Did you work with other kinds of, or did you work with like military advisors? Like, what was the sort of process there in terms of like bringing authenticity to the rest of the series?
Yeah, so we're so fortunate on the show that the many of the producers are ex-military, and specifically SEALs. I mean, Jack Carr himself is obviously an ex-Navy SEAL, and so the producers, Jared Shaw and Max Adams. So Jared was an ex-SEAL, Max Adams was a Ranger, and then we had Ray Mendoza as well. So Ray Mendoza and Jared walked us through. Well, I say walked us through. Put us through an intensive training program to learn everything really, and they would be on hand at any moment. And what's great about them being there day in, day out is they don't miss a beat. Those guys, they're on every little thing you do, and that for me as an actor wanting to get it perfect was everything I could have asked for, because they're just there and they've got your back. And also as SEALs, they want to have your back, right? They're team players, the SEALs, so they're always watching out for you. So when you get that that note of approval when they're like, you nailed every bit, you did it exactly as I said. That for me was like the best moment, because it's those guys seeing it the way that it should be seen. So yeah, it's like a stamp of approval when those guys say you got it right, which is really good. But yeah, we also have a lot of the extra SEALs on the show. I became very good friends with a lot of those guys, and all the extra SEALs that you see there in Iraq, they are all ex-SEALs in real life. So we had this plethora of military guys and SEALs there to just talk to and ask questions about what it's like to be a SEAL, and actually having them there day in, day out, and going to the gym with them, working out with them, going and having drinks and coffee and stuff, and eating food with them. It's like, it's the best way to really immerse yourself in that world and know what it feels like. So we were very fortunate.
Yeah, that's very cool. Outside of, I'm sure one of the most difficult things to film was the torture scene, but what were some of the other challenges filming this show, or difficult scenes to capture?
Yeah. A tough one was in episode 4, the tunnel sequence, which was that big kind of one shot from a logistical standpoint, rehearsal standpoint. Just getting every little moment right was very tricky at times, but we got there. But it was a very complicated sequence, and then I would say, just from a time perspective, getting all the stuff in Iraq was very tough and intensive. We did like long nights. There was one day where we shot the final day, and we had to shoot out because we had to shoot Chris out of his kind of LA schedule because he was off to something else. So we had to finish that night, and we ended up going through till like 9 in the morning, and then they started serving breakfast the next morning, and then we moved inside to carry on shooting. So I think that was, I don't even know how long that shooting day was. I wasn't even keeping count, but it must have been in the realms of like 18, 19 hours or something, because
God.
yeah, we were going well into daylight. So there was some days on Terminal List which are incredibly intense, but I kind of love it. I love the intensity of action and being up against the clock and working fast. Like I'm not one of these actors who likes to just sit around and wait at my trailer. Like I'm there to kind of get the job done, and I really enjoy that. I love working at a pace. I love being involved. I like getting involved in all the stunts. That's kind of my world, which I love. So, and Dark Wolf and Terminal List is the perfect world to do it because they want you to do that.
Yeah. How did this role kind of differ from some of the stuff you've done in the past? Like just this experience of playing this character and being in this kind of show?
Yeah. I mean, as a show, it's incredible because it's, they don't hold back on budget. So they're able to do things properly, which is great. I'd say the biggest factor, though, is that we are representing the military community. We're representing these SEALs. We're representing what these guys are really like. And we have a job to really show what their world is like. And this world is going on underneath our noses, and most members of the public would never know about it. And only these guys ever see that, right? These guys who live it. And we wanted to do them justice, and for me, the responsibility of playing Raife as a character that was a fan favorite from the books, I took incredibly seriously, and I wanted to do Jack's words justice and the character that he created and fans had loved. So there was just this huge responsibility I felt on my shoulders before joining this show, more so than others before. Like I'd done Umbrella Academy, and Umbrella Academy, I felt the same sort of thing because it had a big fan base. But this was just different, and it was because it was representing people in a real life situation.
You have frozen.
Hold on. So have you, actually.
Okay. The internet gods are against us today.
They got us.
There, it seems better now. Okay. Let's do a little offering to the internet gods. So speaking of other roles, like you've done a lot. Now you've kind of, you've done pirate, you've done sci-fi. You were in Game of Thrones, and now military thriller. What other genres or types of stuff would you like to do in the future?
So for me, when I've been asked this sort of question quite a lot, and for
Yeah.
me, it's always about the challenge. I don't necessarily look at the genre. I look at, apart from a Western, I did a Western and I was like, I've got to just do this Western. I need to just tick that box.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
with my dad jealous kind of thing. But yeah, usually my big thing is I just want to be challenged. I want to look at something that maybe scares me a little bit. I want something that's like, can I do that? And that for me, I've found in the past, brings the best out of me. I like the feeling of rising to a challenge. So that really comes down to when I read a script and go, that's it. That's the next thing I want to do. That, and sometimes um, you don't know when it's going to hit. Um, so I'm always looking for something that really makes me go, oh, that's difficult when I want it.
Was this role one of the more challenging roles, would you say, that you've played, or how does it rank?
I think, because of there was a few factors, right? Because a Rhodesian accent is like a big challenge. Number one, that was because also when you're doing an accent that's so specific, you're opening yourself up to criticism quite massively, and people
Hmm.
going, "What's he doing with his voice?" Or they're the fears you have, right? So that's where that turn of hard work comes in. It's like you put in the amount of work and graft necessary to hopefully mean that never happens. That's what's in my head. And then there's also the factor of it coming from such a huge fan base for the books, and that I know now after after the show is coming out. Unfortunately, the show's been, it's done well. Um, David DiGilio said to me, now I can tell you, just so you know, how much pressure was on us to get Raife right. Like we had to get Raife right, and of course I didn't know that, but I kind of felt that.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why I had this huge amount of I felt this like pressure on myself. I put it on myself to really want to deliver. So I really hope that I've done his words and his character justice. Yeah,
It was nice of them not to tell you till afterwards.
I know. Yeah, well, I
A
really
little
knew
less anxiety.
the way you were all.
um, what so after this, like, do you have any upcoming projects or anything you can hint at or talk about?
Yeah, so me and my wife Laura, we have a production company which we set up a couple of years back, and our first movie will come out next year, which we shot at the beginning of the year, right before shooting Terminal List True Believer, which will come out next year as well. So we're really excited about that. I play identical twins in it, who are estranged
Oh,
twins, and we shot that in Colchester, England, and it was an intense shoot, but it's a really fun thriller where, as I say, I play two characters, two completely different twins. They've grown up in very different lives and then come together. And it's a bit of an adventure story. So I'm looking forward to people watching that. That's going to be really fun. And then I'm going off to do a movie now, which I don't know if I'm allowed because it's not been announced yet. So I'm not sure if I'm allowed to actually say it because I don't.
probably not.
Yeah, didn't say that yet. But I'm going off to shoot that movie, and then of course we've just been shooting True Believer, which is going to come out next year, and then I'm just in talks about a couple of projects next year as well. So it's great. Like it's a really enjoyable time right now. Like I'm really enjoying my work, and I'm excited about opportunities.
What can you tell us about True Believer? Is
What
there
can
is there
True Believer?
any
Question. Exactly, and what can I tell them about True Believer?
Like not a lot.
Yeah, not a lot.
I figured.
Yeah, tell you, we've finished principal photography on it. We've shot all through this year, from like March, the beginning of this year, through to now. It's huge, and it's taken a lot of work, and a lot of people have put in their heart and souls into this season of TV. It's a big one, so I really think it's going to do the book justice. And I don't think it's a mystery to know that there's going to be some characters from Dark Wolf that will also be back playing ball in True Believer as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, and sorry about all the technical difficulties we experienced. and thanks for rescheduling also.
Of course. Are you feeling
beginning of the school year?
Right.
Oh yeah. I think I was I caught whatever my son had, because school starts and then everyone gets sick immediately. So
I was back from Morocco, which I have never felt so ill. We just over there, and I brought something back, and oh my goodness, there's some terrible things going on at the moment.
Well, thanks again. It was great to meet you, and I really enjoyed the show. It was so much fun. And yeah, I'm a Call of Duty player, and there were times where it really reminded me of a Call of Duty campaign. Just very all the fighting in the streets, and
they're the best, aren't they? Like, I love those games. I used to sit and play those things for hours.
Yeah. It really took me into that experience. It was a lot of fun. So
amazing, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, good luck with everything. I can't wait for the next show. I'll have to check out your movie for sure. And have a great night.
Thank you, bud. Take care. Thank you.